Good day, everyone. This is the Age Group Athletes Briefing. We're very excited to have you coming to join us in Bermuda, beautiful sunny Bermuda, for this inaugural WTS event, the MS Amlin World Triathlon Bermuda. Beside me is Patty Petty, who is the Age Group Technical Delegate for the event, and my name is Kelly Mahoney, and I'm the Technical Delegate for the WTS Elite event.
And I must say, she's a big wig here.
Yeah. Today we'll be covering the briefing agenda that you see on the slides today. We'd like to acknowledge and recognize the work of the LOC. Philip Schmidt is our chair of the WS Bermuda event. Mike Wild is the LOC race director, and Dr. Annabelle Carter will be our LOC medical delegate, and then Ian Pilgrim is our head referee for the age group event.
And the competition jury.
Should we need a competition jury, these are the folks that will be on the competition jury. It will be chaired by Patty Petty, Aaron Smith, who is on the executive board of the National Federation, the Bermuda Triathlon Association, and Jonathan Herring, who's also an NF member. So before the race, important information for you to know as an athlete is you need to pick up your race kit at the registration, which is at Pier 6 on Front Street. Please read the athlete guide that was sent out to you beforehand so that you are aware of a lot of important information that will help your event go smoothly and have you have a much better experience while you're here. We'd like you to review the rules.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We then like to give you the schedule and timetables. As you can see, your race pickup and registration will be on Thursday, the 26th of April from 2 o'clock to 7. Then again on Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. There will be an age group swim familiarization on the flagpole, and that will be from 2 to 3 o'clock. Mm-hmm. The registration pickup is at Pier 6 on the lower level, and you will need your race number and identification to pick that up.
Make sure while you're down there at Pier 6 that you take advantage of Front Street and all of the beautiful cafes and shops that are down there, and pick up some souvenirs for to take home to wherever you come from.
Right. The schedule is an early start for most of you at 5:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. The age group transition check-in will start. Our first wave, which will be the standard distance, starts at 7, and 8:20 will be the first wave start for the sprint distance. We welcome all of you to join the after party at Pier 6 starting at 8 o'clock on Saturday evening.
Yeah, it'll be a great time. For sure, we'll be there.
Yeah, so come and party along with us. In your race pack, you'll have your helmet stickers, bike stickers, body decals, swim caps, which is mandatory to wear. So please don't wear any other swim cap because that will identify you in your wave. Your bib number, timing chip and strap, and a wristband, which will be only for the team members.
Patty, before we move on to the next slide, where should people apply their body decals if they haven't used them before?
The body decals will go on each arm and on each leg.
On
the side of them.
Great.
Not in the back. We would like them both on the side so they're clearly visible.
Perfect.
There'll be no actual transportation laid on from any of the hotels on race day, so please ride your bikes to transition.
Okay, so this is the venue map. You'll have seen this in your age group guide that is up on the website. Just so you know as well, this briefing will also be on the website, so you can review it at your leisure and stop and go back when there's information that's of importance to you. You can see on the venue map that your age group transition is near City Hall. It's between Church Street and Victoria Street, and your swim start is down on Front Street by the flagpole.
Yeah, you'll have a 300-meter run up to the transition area, so you need to be a good runner as well.
Okay, Race morning when you arrive. So again, the race morning check-in for age group transition is between 5:30 and 7. Please come to the entrance on Dismount Drive, and this is where you will check in. Come with your bike and your helmet, your uniform on. These things will all be checked by the technical officials as you come into the transition area.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of check-in and check-out procedures, we've mentioned this. If you have a tri-suit on, make sure that with a front zipper, make sure it's zipped up and remain closed for the duration of the event. People will be checking that your bar end plugs are plugged, your bike frame is consistent with the rules. Helmet must be worn and fastened at any time when you're handling your bike. And you rack your bike in an allocated bike rack position, which is marked by your number. So it's pretty clear. There will be volunteers in the transition area as well as technical officials.
Mm-hmm.
If you need any help finding where you need to rack, just ask someone. We're there to help you. Okay, and finally, after you've set up your transition area and it's to your satisfaction and you're ready to go down to the swim start, take all of your non-competition gear, put it in the backpack that's provided to you at your race package pickup, excuse me, and you can drop any of your other gear that you're not using to race at the expo area at Car Park 5 on the way to the pre-start swim area. What volunteers will be there to meet you. They'll take your bags, they'll tag them with your race number, and you can pick them up there after the completion of your event.
That's great. Mm-hmm. So moving on, I think you're either in the sprint distance or standard distance, and most of you do know how far you have to swim or cycle or run, and that's quite clear. Just to make note that you are responsible to take your own lap, so counting them. So if you call out to a volunteer or official and say, "What lap am I on?" they won't be able to keep track of it. So please be mindful of that. The course is, some of the areas are very technical, and as you can see by the map, there are no pass zones.
The no pass zones are outlined in green on the course map that you're seeing in front of you. So basically the entire area around the transition zone.
And down Queen Street, there is an area called the Lane, which is further down on the south side of the roundabout. Then again, on the way back from Bermuda, you'll have a no pass zone up Trimingham Hill. Then you go up to Corkscrew. Then you make the back all the way down to Burnaby Street, Queen Street, and again around transition, which is a no pass zone as well. Mm-hmm. If you have any questions on that, please don't hesitate to ask on that point on the no pass zones. Once you go on your second lap, you'll end up going around to Serpentine Road, then on to Pitts Bay Road, Woodbourne Avenue, down Bermudiana Road, and there's a small road called Rosebank Road that is also a no pass zone before you head to Parlerville and then around.
Okay.
The water and air temperature predicted at this moment. I would suggest you get the app on your phones to keep an eye on it because weather can change quite rapidly here. The water temperature predicted is 22, so it is borderline, and we will be taking a temperature measurement temperature at 1 hour prior to the start. So we'll be able to let you know.
And definitely for those of you who aren't from Bermuda, who are flying in, look at the Bermuda weather on bermudaweather.com. It's up to date, and because it's an island, the weather changes quickly. So just make sure you keep on top of it.
Exactly.
Okay, so the following slide illustrates the start times for each of the waves. And so this is a slide that you can review at your leisure and identify exactly what event you're in, what your age category is, when your start time is, and what color your cap will be, as well as your race numbers. The following slide is a picture of the standard swim course map. So it's one loop of the course, 1,500 meters. You start in the water between two buoys, so it's a deep water start at the just below the flagpole. You'll be corralled down into 3 swim corrals. So we'll have one in the water and 2 waiting to go in. And then it's a clockwise swim, keeping all of the buoys on your right shoulder as you go around the course. And until you get to B5, which is the final buoy coming into the swim exit.
Mm,
And that one you will keep on your left shoulder. And then you'll come straight into the swim exit and you'll head up into your transition.
that's great. Mm.
The swim course map that you're seeing right now on the briefing is the sprint course. So it's one 750-meter sprint course. It's a clockwise course. Again, you will keep all the buoys on your right shoulder and until you get to the last buoy, which is buoy 5, labeled on the map. And that one you'll keep on your left shoulder, and then you'll make a straight line into the swim exit.
Yeah, Kelly, and another thing, if you can make sure that you are down at the swim time and swim start in ample time, because that will help move the waves quicker. You're allowed to get in the water just prior to the start to have a 2 or 3 minute warm up. So the sooner you get down to the swim start, then everything should work like clockwork.
And the one thing I did forget to mention is that the sprint athletes will be starting against the seawall. So you'll come down the stairs, you'll enter the water through the stairs that are at the seawall, and we'll put you in the water and then line you up against the seawall, and that's how you'll start on the air horn.
Yep. Thanks.
Okay, great. So then, once you completed your swim in record time, no doubt.
Yes.
Beautiful blue waters, very clear. You will follow the blue carpet from swim exit up to into the transition zone. Patty had already mentioned it's approximately a 300-meter run, and it's a bit of an uphill.
Yes.
So we want you to be cautious when you're traveling on that blue carpet, depending on the number of people that have been in front of you or the weather. If it's rainy, it can be a bit slippery. So just take care as you're going, leaving the swim and heading up to the transition area. Make sure you bring all of your equipment with you that you've used in the swim. So absolutely your goggles, your caps. If there's a wetsuit and you have that, you make sure that you take that back to your transition spot. Helmet again, when you're transitioning to the bike, make sure that you put your helmet on first and you fasten it up before you remove your bike. And of course, like any other triathlon, don't ride your bike in transition. You run with your bike, pushing it across the mountain line, which will be a green line located on Wesley Street. And then after you cross that, you can jump on your bike and head out onto the bike course. So this simply is a map that shows you exactly what your path will be once you're done your swim.
Thanks, Kelly.
This is also the flow of transition. So again, this blue line is Queen Street. So you've come up Queen Street, you'll make a little bit of a zigzag. You'll go in the entrance on the left side of Church Street. It's at the upper part of the map there, and then you will run in, find your bike racks, which will be labeled at each of the ends, as well as your spot will be labeled on the rack, and then you pick up your bike and head out. The yellow is your bike exit.
Yeah. I'd just like to point out that the blue line and the yellow line is only an example. So if you are in numbered 401, you can go up through the bike racks
The
that
middle,
way.
the middle of the.
You can go up the middle.
Great.
We're just showing this as an example, so you know.
Okay, that's great. And then finally, you can see. Finally, you can see the green line on Wesley Street, which is the mount line, and the red line on Wesley Street is the dismount line after the end of the bike.
Yeah. Okay. That is actually the bike course that we're looking at again, the transition zone. It is quite clear with the markings of the no pass zone. A lot of the area is technical, so we ask that you be cautious on this, especially if we do encounter wet weather. Please pay attention to any of the athletes' that might be passing you. Also, any volunteers that have flags, and they have warnings for you as well. Please, in Bermuda, we ride on the left-hand side. So
our
over
UK athletes will be very
yes,
familiar
yeah,
with
they'll be
this.
familiar, but
Yeah.
Canada and the United States, not so much.
Yeah.
You only overtake on the right-hand side, and as we normally say, please proceed with caution. We went over the no pass zones as well.
Yeah, I would suggest if you're going to pass an athlete that you just call and let them know that you're passing on
Yeah.
their right-hand side.
Yeah, on your right.
That gives them the heads up
Yeah.
and lets them make sure that they're maintaining their line
Yeah.
throughout the whole
Yeah.
event. Yeah.
And we do have no littering on the bike course, so please make sure that no gel packs, water bottles are not discarded on the bike course, please.
Yeah, when you get here, you'll see how beautiful Bermuda is, and we want to leave it that way after the event. So, okay.
Okay, the slide shows the no pass zones around the transition mainly, and Rosebank Road. Thanks. There's another no pass zone, which is the lane, which is near Trimingham Hill.
And there will be no passing starts and no passing end signs on the course, so you should be able to see them if you read the athlete guide and these maps, and you see the signs. You'll know exactly where you need to stay behind in the line and not pass your fellow competitors.
Yeah. And not passing fellow competitors. We don't want any drafting. I think most of you being athletes, triathletes, know the drafting rules, so please pay attention to that because we will have draft marshals on the course. Bike elevation.
Yeah, Corkscrew Hill.
Yeah, that is one of the favorite places that everyone's looking forward to going up to, I'm sure. There is a bike penalty box on the corner of Bermudiana Road and Gorham Road. You will get no notification. It is your responsibility to stop, so that means that there will be no numbers on a penalty board like there is for the elites. If you are handed a blue card, you should proceed to the penalty box. You should advise the technical official there that you have a blue card and what event that you're doing, whether it's a sprint or standard distance.
So a blue card is for drafting. Patty, is that correct?
The blue card is for drafting.
Perfect.
The yellow card is for blocking.
Excellent.
So if you're handing that, you're lucky because you get less of a penalty than if you were drafting.
Okay, that's great. Good to know.
If you don't happen to serve your penalty, you will be disqualified, and we don't want any of you to be disqualified. So let's make it a fun race and enjoy it.
Okay, so this slide is just to let you know that if something happens on the course, if there's an accident, or if the conditions mean that we need to slow people down before a turn, you may see a volunteer with a flag and a red t-shirt on. If they're flagging and whistling for you to slow down, don't just race around them. Proceed with caution because there's probably a reason that they're trying to slow you down. So we want to keep you safe. We want to keep you healthy, and we want to make sure that you're at the medal ceremony and the after party on Saturday night. So just pay attention if somebody's on the road with whistles and red flags. Okay, so once you're done your bike and you've racked your bike in transition, you've gotten off before the dismount line, which is red, a red line that's located on Wesley Street. Take your bike to your assigned rack position. Once you've racked your bike, take off your helmet, not before, or you may get an infraction, and then you head to run exit on Church Street. So this is another slide that just shows where the Sorry, one more. Yeah, so here's a sample. Yeah. Here's a sample of the lines that can happen. So the orange line is you coming in off the bike. You will rack, obviously, your bike in the position that you took it from, where your number is, and then you head out following the red line out onto the run course. The run course is depending on which distance you're doing. If you're doing sprint, it's 2 laps. If you're doing standard, it's 4 laps. Each of the laps is 2.5 kilometers long. The first run lap and each of the run laps after, you will run through the elite transition until your final lap. And then you'll follow the same line, but you'll stay to the right and you'll enter the finish chute and you'll cross the finish line. We have 2 aid stations on the course for you. One is just after you exit the elite transition. The second is at the far end of the course, so 1.25 kilometers away. The aid station 2, which is at the far end of the course, you can access from both sides of the course. There is littering zones around the aid stations, so it's 20 meters before the aid station and 80 meters after. And please discard the cups or any litter you have, gel packs, etc., within those littering zones. Again, we want to keep Bermuda as beautiful as possible. Once you've finished your race, keep moving through to the recovery area where there is water, fruit, medical if you need it, but also massage, which is a great reward for a hard race. So this is a map of the run course. The stars that you're seeing are the aid station locations. You can see the blue age group transition. And again, you're going to run down Church Street. And this is, sorry, go back.
Yes, sorry.
This is the run laps. So this is each of your runs prior to your last run. You will follow the red arrows through the elite transition and back out onto Front Street. So it's basically back, out and back on Front Street.
Yeah.
Okay. Until this is the map of the final lap. And as I said, you'll stay straight and turn right into the finish chute and cross the finish line.
Right. That when you finish as a team member, we will there will be a holding area for you for the swimmer and the cyclist, and then you will join your runner a couple hundred meters before the finish and cross the line with them. This information will be given to you more in detail at registration pickup. Some important reminders for athletes: your race numbers, which is very important. Your timing chips should be on your left ankle, and there is a $75 penalty if you don't hand it in, so please be mindful of that.
There will be volunteers to take your timing chips as well, but if you happen to sneak by them, make sure you come back and give the timing chip back to us.
Exactly. As mentioned before, team cyclists will have a wristband on, and they will require this for checkout. And swim starts will be rolling waves, and we discussed that earlier.
Yeah, so we'll ask you when we corral you for your swim start, what color cap are you wearing, what distance are you doing, and look down and make sure you have your timing chip on your ankle.
And most important, which swim are you doing? Are you heading straight out, or you doing the Olympic distance? So that will make a difference as well. Mm-hmm. No electronic devices, no GoPros, no headphones, etc. Mm-hmm. We don't like anyone to come with balloons and put them on and mark their position in transition. So keep that in mind.
The race organizers have spent a lot of time putting your rack number in. So just look for your rack number. Yeah. And there'll be signs again at the end of each of the lines in transition that will direct you.
And as mentioned, should there be rain, please cycle, run with caution, and know that there are the athletes on the road. Mm-hmm. The results will be on Bermuda timing it's bermuda.triathlon.org, sorry. Mm-hmm. Weather forecast, as mentioned, try to get the app on your phone. Mm-hmm. It
changes hourly, so make sure you're watching. There is a slight chance of rain on race day. Yeah. But
we're hoping we're going to push that forward to Sunday.
Yes, yeah, we're hoping for sunny weather for you.
Good luck to all the athletes. We wish you all the best, and come out and join us on Saturday evening for the after party.
Yeah, and enjoy your time in Bermuda if you're traveling in, and if you're from Bermuda, thank you very much for hosting this, what we hope will be a fantastic event. So thanks for participating.